Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 17. Who you talking to?
Yeah, who you talking to, man? Who you telling all your business to?
Oh.
Like you, man. This subject right here is super pivotal in your relationship, in your marriage.
Absolutely.
You cannot just be spatting off your dirty laundry and airing off your dirty laundry online or to the wrong friend. Period.
It
You
matters who you talk to.
You got to keep it intimate. You got to keep it intimate. You got to keep it between, primarily between you, God, and qualified people. Help, either a therapist, a marriage counselor, a member of your body, of your believers of your church, and so in that wear them in that direction. Somebody who's qualified, to actually deal with it, but also who's not going to go around. They know the rules and they also know the unspoken laws that goes about this, and who and who not to share with, and also your secret is safe with them.
Mhm.
I got at least three scriptures from you to start. Who are you talking to? Proverbs 10:11. The mouth of the righteous is the well of life. Proverbs 10:13. Wisdom is found on the lips of those who have understanding. In Proverbs 10:14, wise people store up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Basically, what these three scriptures are highlighting and itemizing is you qualifying the people that you should and should not be talking to, using spiritual discernment, and also going in the ways that God leads you.
All right. So, when it comes to marriage or any relationship, really, who do you go to for advice makes a world of difference. I didn't word that right, but that's okay. You got it. You don't want to go asking for advice from your best friend if she has 4 divorces and she thinks that being a strong, independent woman makes her a strong woman. There's nothing wrong with being a strong, independent woman if you're using it in the right way. But in today's world, it's used very toxically and very incorrectly and used to manipulate. It's not something that is used in a positive manner. In today's world, being a strong, independent woman is, screw that guy, all men are trash.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't need anybody. I could do it on my own, and you know what? And there's nothing wrong with being able to take care of yourself for a time. There's nothing wrong with being able to handle it yourself. But when you wrap your whole life and persona around it and you use it in a toxic, manipulative manner, it's bad. It's not good, and it's not godlike either. It doesn't make you Christ-like. It doesn't make you a good Christian. It doesn't mean that you're any better than the next person.
Mm-hmm. With discernment and in discernment, there's very few exceptions. But a single man or a single woman should not be giving long-time marital advice to you.
Mm-mm.
There's very few exceptions, and you pretty much know what those are if you use discernment. But a single man and a single woman should not be giving you marital advice. You should not be, and you definitely shouldn't just be willingly airing out your dirty laundry to that person and that individual. It's just unsafe, and you're asking yourself for problems.
Mm-hmm.
I got another one for you. Proverbs 10:19. In the multitude of words, sin is not lacking, but the one who restrains their lips is wise. The tongue of the righteous is the choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of wisdom.
Mm-hmm. My next thing here. Should you talk to your parents? That's a double-edged sword. It really is. So I guess it depends. Are you going to tell both sides of the story? Or are you just going to tell the part that supports your narrative? That makes you look good and the other person look bad? Are your parents toxic? If your parents are toxic, I definitely wouldn't be talking to them about your relationship. They're not going to do anything but spread your rumors and probably make lies up and make it worse. Do you only ever bring up the bad when you talk to your parents about your spouse? That's a problem. If you only ever bring up the bad and you never talk about the good, and you're not going to them for the right reasons, you're not going to them for advice, but you're just going, oh, my spouse ain't worth, you know, why are you even talking to them to begin with, besides to be toxic? That's being toxic.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know who I should talk to? Good question. You have to have spiritual discernment, which we were just speaking on. And you also have to judge a tree by its fruit. When I say judge a tree by its fruit was the example I gave earlier, sort of in a fashion. You don't want to go talking to Jessica that has four divorces and talks all this trash, and you don't want to go talking to your best friend who sleeps around with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't the people that you talk to about your relationship, because they don't have a good background in that area. And you definitely don't want to go talking to somebody that doesn't have a good relationship with God, because if they don't have a good relationship with God, they don't have the same morals that you do either. Um, Check the qualifications. That's what I'm trying to say. Check
Mm-hmm.
the qualifications. If they don't qualify in all the boxes, if they don't check off in a godly manner and with good moralistic values and a good background and fruit to show it, you shouldn't be talking to them. And you definitely shouldn't be talking to them if you know it's somebody that tells, if they tell you everybody else's business, they're going to tell your business,
Mm.
which opens up more problems. And you might want to be careful talking to, like you said, your single friends. You don't want to talk to them either.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that cross the boundaries, step in and try to be in your relationship behind your back. They see you got problems. Cool, it's my turn now. Don't do
Mm-hmm.
that. Don't be that person.
James 3 1 through 12. My brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment. For we all stumble in many things. If anyone does not stumble in word, he is a perfect man, able to bridle the whole body. Indeed, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turned their whole body. Look also at ships. Although they are so large, they are driven by fierce winds, and they are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot desires. Even so, the tongue is a little member, but it boasts great things. See how great a forest little fire kindles. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature, and is itself set on fire by hell. For every kind, beast, bird, reptile, creature of the sea is tamed and has been tamed by mankind, but no man can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our God, our Lord, our Father, and with it we also curse men who have been made in the similitude of God, in the image of God. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessings and cursings. My brother, this should not be. Does a spring send forth fresh water and bitter from the same opening? Can a fig tree, my brethren, bear olives, or a grapevine bear figs? Thus, no spring yields both salt water and fresh water. This is so much to go into. You got to watch what they are saying. You got to be able to itemize the things that they're talking to. Understanding these things and seeing what they talk about, or is the very course that you should be taking, or the angle that you should whether you should be letting this person speak into your life, whether they're qualified or not. And I hate to use a word like that because we are judging people, but in a sense, it does protect you. You judge, not the less way you be judged. Basically, you judge them on accordance to the same extent that you would judge yourself, and you administer that type of judgment, and you administer it fairly. So basically, if you wouldn't hold yourself to that standard, you should not be making a call or a judgment to it. It's hypocritical to make a call or a standard of judgment or a line, and then yourself not being going in accordance with that. It's bad.
And additionally, like we said before, that there is a time and a place for everything, and that would be to judge the tree by its fruit. There's Everybody says, "Oh, judge, lest not you be judged," and so on and so forth. But there's also a time and a place, just like it says. I believe it says in Proverbs, that there's a time and a place for everything, and That's when you judge that tree by its fruit. Um, Another thing is, why are you talking to the person that you're talking to?
Ooh. Got to question yourself. You got to examine yourself.
You must examine yourself before you speak. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. There's going to be remnants. You could try as hard as you can. You could scoop it up. You could scrape it off the counter. You can wipe it up. There's remnants everywhere. They're spread all over the place at this point. You've got it all in your rag you tried to wipe it up with. It's all over the utensil you tried to use. You cannot get all the toothpaste back in the tube. And by saying that is once the words come out of your mouth, you cannot cancel them. They've come out. They're out there. They're in the open. And you have to remember two things. You've given these words to someone. Do you trust them? Are they good people? Mm-hmm. Do they mean the best for you? And the demons are listening. They're listening.
Overtime.
They're working overtime. And then my last thing that I wanted to say is how you obtain spiritual discernment. The best way to obtain spiritual discernment is to talk to God, pray, sit and listen to God, listen for Him. Keep your eyes and your ears open and pay attention. Read the Word. There's a lot of knowledge in there, and it's going to be a guide for you. And spend time with other Christians, people of like minds, people that even if people you look up to, people that you see as in a better position than yourself. You always spend time with people that are doing better than you so that you can learn from them and you can learn to do better. So that you can not only better yourself, but better your relationship with God and better your relationship with your spouse. There's no better way to do it.
Yep. As iron sharpens iron, one man should sharpen the other. Proverbs 20:19, whoever goes about gossiping slanders, so you should avoid such people. Proverbs 19:5, a false witness will not go unpunished, and those who speak lies shall not escape judgment. It's some things to know. It gives you a righteous fear about what you are to talk about, but also what you're pouring into other people's lives. And you have to be careful when you do, as yourself, speak on somebody else's relationship. You got to be just as careful as you are to be speaking about your own relationship, to be speaking on other people's. I just say do neither. I say, if anything, you should go to God in prayer and you should be talking to the correct counselor. You should be going to spiritual counseling and everything as well, to hash out anything, or somebody who was a spiritual stronghold or support that was in your life, in your marriage, somebody that knows you, knows what calls you're going to make, and knows it's not afraid to tell you the things that you don't want to hear.
You can talk to some, you can talk to some older couples in your church that you see doing really well. Man, how did you last this long? What did you do? What could we do better, in this situation? What do you think about this? How would you get through something like this? Or how did you? You could talk to people like that. And sometimes there are churches that even offer spiritual couples counseling, or even a class for couples. Those are good places to start, I think.
Yeah. And don't be afraid. There's nothing wrong with this. It's like understanding where you're at and knowing where you're at. That's where it starts. And when you understand and you actually identify that there's a problem, and that's where you go. It's like you can never get to where you're going without knowing where you're at. Admitting where you're at is the starting point, so you can get other directions to get to where you're going. So know where you're at first, so you can get to where you're going.
Exactly.
We want the best for anybody that's watching this, and just remember to keep God first. Always daily lift your spouse up in prayer. Encourage your spouse. Encourage them. Thankfulness, gratitude, and encouragement goes so much further than you crying and complaining about your problems and itemizing everything that's wrong with your spouse. Start highlighting the things that are very good about your spouse and watch your relationship change. Start thinking about those things. Lift God up. Lift that up to God. Thank God for those things that your spouse does is good. That's what you should be doing.
And always consider the role that you're playing in your relationship and the problems that you're having. Because there are often times where you're in your relationship, you have a problem with your spouse, but you're not acknowledging the part that you played in it. You need to acknowledge the part that you played in it too. And sometimes there'll be situations where you didn't, right? Where you did everything you were supposed to do, and you guys are just upset about something or something went wrong, right? One person or the other. But more often than not, you played a part in it, even if it was just, man, I could have responded better.
Mm.
I could have responded with thought and love and respect instead of reacting with anger and rudeness and overreacting. And, you get it. You get the point. There's always something that you could be doing better in every situation.
Well, like always, these scriptures that I've written will be posted on the video at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Probably up there right now as I'm speaking over my head. And because that's kind of how we've always done things. But
yeah.
We don't have. Do you have anything else for them? Okay.
No.
All right. Before I speak for her, we don't have anything else for you guys. This is all done out of love. Remember to like and share. Share this with any